Okay, we are official, live. Can I get a confirmation that somebody is seeing this? There you go. I see it now. Okay, thank you, everyone. Very sorry about the snafu this morning. Jason and I thought we had it all figured out, and we did not want to do it any other way than the way it was designed. So here we are. Huge show. It is recorded, so for those of you who missed it earlier or can't watch now, I totally understand. No issues at all. Here's what we want to say. The show today is all about the patterns that have been going on for decades and hidden right under our noses. Workers reassigned, moved around, concerns minimized, families silenced, communities completely unaware of who was in their presence, all while child sexual abuse and sexual abuse has been hidden in plain sight. With that said, last night our community lost Katie Kime, a sister worker who followed the visitation schedule that was created by her overseer into the home of a known predator who brutally raped her. I would like to read one line from the letter that was put out by Overseer Craig Winquist that you can read for yourself on wingsfortruth.info. It's dated July 28th of 2023 regarding the incident between Ira Hobbs and her that happened in 2019. I quote, "She was not wrong to seek medical attention and would have likely died if she had not done so." Another of Ira's victims is currently in a care home, unable to speak and living in a body that has been ravished by trauma. Allegations against him range from inappropriate touching to brutality for decades. Cynthia Lyles will be on Unbroken Wednesday, June 17th, to provide factual data around him and many, many other perpetrators around the world. We're going to share a lot of that information with you today. Please know that by focusing on any other allegations besides Katie, we are not minimizing what happened to her or her life in any way. In fact, it was her wish that this abuse stop. Katie, we believed you. Katie, what happened to you never should have happened. And we absolutely promise you that your life and your light will be carried forward. Today, we're going to show you factually how these dots connect. But before I introduce our esteemed guests, I would like to first point out this quilt that's hanging behind me. It was handmade for me by another survivor, Edie Garcelon from Massachusetts. Edie's in her 80s, and she has made hundreds of quilts like this for other survivors all around the world. We are building an army, friends. Each of us has been called to stand beside one another. And so let the light get brighter and let those cockroaches run. We will never stop until there's no more darkness. Secondly, I would like to have a moment of silence in honor of Katie's life and for the courage that she had in sharing what happened to her. May you rest in peace, Katie. With that, I want to introduce our two guests today. You know them well. You know their names anyway. Pam Walton is known for meticulously tracking reports, allegations, locations, timelines, and the lists circulating around the 2x2 system. You know Jason as Jason Wase, but it's Waselenko. Did I say that right?
Waselenko.
Waselenko, who has begun using those same patterns to build visual maps, tracing perpetrator movement, worker shuffles, geographic clustering, and the chilling alignment between travel routes and survivor statements. This team works closely with Cynthia Lyles, and today we will clearly show you the factual difference between isolated incidents and systemic enabling. I also want to give a trigger warning on the emotional toll of connecting these dots today. You will see things that you will not be able to unsee. We have been allowing the protection of systems over people for far too long, and that is what has caused the devastation of all of this in the first place. Here's the reality. Predators thrive in darkness. Patterns emerge in the light. This episode is about courage, documentation, accountability, and refusing to look away. With that, I want to welcome our guests. Thank you, Jason, for being here. Thank you, Pam, for being here. Thank you for all the things that you guys both do. All the time you spend hours of your life doing this. So I'm going to start out with you, Pam. I want to know if there's any lists that you need right out of the gate, and then just tell us a little bit about how the two of you work together.
I still need lists. So even if people don't think I need them, just send them to me. I did get a big box of lists, hundreds of speakers lists last week that I've been slowly going through. I finally have all the names on my computer, so I will be updating my travel timelines on some of these people so Jason can then update the maps on some of these that he has updated. So what was the second part? Sorry.
How you guys work together.
Oh, Jason reached out to me actually, and asked about, he wanted to do these maps to kind of connect the dots. And I thought that that is just the next step to be able to show their travels in a more visual way. Because, I'm a visual person also. So, that kind of helps for people to just see the multiple ways that these people have traveled, and that you can see how they've just crisscrossed across the country, across the globe. And I think it's just that next step of that evolution of what needs to happen for people to see and understand that they do travel.
Oh, yeah. And then you guys work with Cynthia to just compare against what's coming into her. So Linnea, Jason's wife, reached out to me on Worthy, and I was having a call with her about something totally different when she introduced me to Jason. And I'm going to tell you guys, my mind was blown that day. I mean, blown. Cynthia, I was like on the phone instantly, like, we got to get the show on the road, man. It is amazing. So I cannot hardly wait for you guys to just put it all together and put the pieces together. So, is there anything else that you wanted to start out with, Pam?
No, I think, everybody pretty much knows my list and have seen all my lists, and I still want people to give me information when perpetrators are traveling around, when they've gone to special meetings or gospel meetings or conventions coming up. Give me all that information if you see them and know that they're there, and I will report it out. I will
Yep.
put it on my list and I will share it, because it's important that people know where these guys are traveling, these men and women are traveling to. That's so important.
So important. So yeah, I just want to put that out there. After this show today, I can tell you that they're going to go underground a little bit more, or maybe a lot more. I don't know. It's going to be super important that if you have access to anything, that you get that to Pam. Okay, Jason, show us what you got, man.
Okay, I'll do a bit of an intro. Um,
Yes, please.
I've always loved maps. I like to hike. I'll even look up an old 1800 survey map to do some metal detecting. And it's like I'm a visual person. What I found was a lot of the lists, it was just sort of numbing. It was just list after list after list, timeline after timeline. And I appreciate all of Pam's effort. And I'm telling you folks, she puts a significant amount of effort into building those timelines. I personally was shocked once I realized the volume of information that one has to go through. And the church is around the world. There is very few parts of the world where a worker hasn't stepped on soil, and there's lists everywhere. And then that also over the course of time is just many lists. So I needed a way to see things visually, and that's part of my career is getting information out of data. And I thought, well, let's use graph theory and a few things to see what we can see. So then that just evolved into me working with Pam and showing these lists, and we can get into the things here. So let me share my, I guess I'll share my screen here. Let's get rid of some of this stuff here. There we go. Oh, I don't want that one.
That's huge right there if you want to go over that really quick.
Well, maybe I'll just do it this way, kind of improvising today. All right. So I need to set some background first before we get into all of this. So buckle up because there's a lot here. Okay, so hang on tight. This diagram, what I've done here is what I call the meeting cycle, or it's how an overseer's region works. So if you have a puzzle, this is a piece of the puzzle, and these pieces of the puzzle are all around the world, and this structure is the same structure everywhere. Okay. So there's a cycle where there's field assignments. Workers are assigned to a field where they'll facilitate gospel meetings, and while in this field or area, they'll be staying at the houses of people in that area. So, a predator, if is assigned to a field, is now being staying in the homes of all the believers in that members in that field. Also, members in that field, there could be a predator as well. And then later in the year, we get into special meeting time. The workers in that area are divided into groups, and those groups will travel through the province on special meeting rounds and on various routes and go through different smaller towns and regional locations and staying at people's homes as they do that. So you can see how a predator um, can get access to more people. And then after that, there's a workers meeting where there's field assignments, and then again a session of gospel meetings, and then oh, pardon me. And then we get into convention time where there's preparations. Workers are assigned to different conventions for to prepare the convention for convention time. And then there's a series of conventions. And at a convention, people from all the different regions will gather at a convention. So members from all over will attend a convention. Now, particular note, what I noticed is the last convention in a region often has the most workers attending because it's all the staff in the region plus the most visitors. And I have a picture from Didsbury somewhere where in the early 90s where there's like 6 perpetrators in that picture. And then after the conventions, there's a workers meeting and it just goes all around. It just continues like this. So documentation that's relevant is very important, and it has a date and a place, because then we can place where that documentation is, and the names, like this person was at this place on that date. There's different lists. There's lists for field assignments, special meeting routes, convention preparation assignments, and speaking lists at different meetings. Things you wouldn't even think of are helpful. Funeral brochures, obituaries, letters, entries in guest books, meeting notes. I've got a meeting notebook that I've worked on filling up over the years, and I think there's probably 15 years of notes in there that I can go through, and so spoke at such and such a place. Very helpful to help track our predators, as well as photos and emails and letters. So it's very the what we're going to show these maps. I want to draw attention that they're high level, okay, like country to country travel, and field assignments. Even that's high level. That's like province or state, or areas of a province or a state. It gets into a little bit lower level when you're looking at special meeting routes, etc. But there's no way to really track the day-to-day travel of these folks, and well, we do the best we can to kind of show what picture develops. The next here, it shows a piece of the puzzle, where we have a region, and there's members in the region, there's workers in the region, and there's an overseer in that region. Okay, so this works for Alberta. So this is Canada here. We got Saskatchewan, Alberta, Quebec, BC, Ontario, and Quebec. Each has an overseer. Now it's not really clear, but it looks like there are regional overseers. These would be names like Dale Schultz, Ray Hoffman, Barry Barkley, back in the day, Eldon Tenniswood. There is a core of core high level overseers, and then there's overseers in the different regions that all communicate with each other. And one thing that I've noticed, let's just look here at Saskatchewan. So the members are quite involved. You can host a meeting, you can be an elder. Um, Members support the workers with time, funds, and money, and food and shelter. The red lines are things that members should do or must do for their salvation, is to attend meetings. So we attend Sunday meeting, Wednesday meeting, gospel meetings. We help with preparations. We attend conventions. So there are a lot of things that members do, and there's a lot of things workers do. Workers are assigned to preps and conventions. They're assigned to special meetings, and they facilitate gospel meetings. And also, as we go up here to the overseer, we see an overseer is actually a worker as well. So they're doing two jobs. They're typically like they'll be in gospel meetings as well. But as you go higher up the chain, it's less about it starts to become more about the money. The money is going up towards the overseer, and the overseer is providing direction and is overseeing of both the members and the workers. And there are some members that have money savvy, so they're in charge of where's a good picture of it here? Yeah, so money savvy. They would be in charge of an account. So they're working with the overseer. Now you get into where this overseer is communicating with all of these other overseers. One thing that occurred to me is, think of it like a sports team, right? Like you have an overseer as like a general manager of a sports team, and the workers will go to these different regions of, will the worker can get transferred from one region to another. One worker would transfer this way, and another worker will come. So that's what I mean here by this administer staff. And then there's regional overseers, kind of like a bridge between regions. So if someone overseer from here and an overseer from here need to talk, they'd probably go through a regional overseer. So don't like when I saw the structure, and like this is just Canada and the United States. So you can expand this throughout the whole world. There's very organized. There is a system. It's well thought out, and it works. It's been working for over 100 years, and I even though I was a member since born and raised for like 46 years, I truly wasn't aware of the magnitude of it. And when you get into this central region, it gets really cloudy. And yeah, let's go back here. We're going to now.
Can we just stop
go
right
ahead.
there really
Stop.
quickly?
Yep.
Nope, I just want to make sure and see if anybody out there has any questions, because this is a lot of information. We have looked at it before. I just want to make sure that if you guys have questions, you're able to ask them now. We'll be monitoring comments, of course, later, but it's easier to do it. So you can clearly see that when he touches one of those lines, it expands or diminishes, and it's all color coded. So hours and hours and hours of factual data listed right here. Are there any questions about any of that? Oh, Denise, she's saying the message we heard is that it's not organized. It is extremely organized. When you take all those lists and all that data that Pam keeps and all this information, let me tell you what, promise you, very, very organized. Okay, I'll let you know if there's any questions. Go ahead, Jason. You have a
Yes,
lot to cover.
yes, please let me know because I can't see the chat or
Yep,
anything.
I'm monitoring chat, so you go right ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to get into some maps here. Let's start with Dean Brewer, who was the overseer of Oregon and Southern Idaho in 2021 to 2022. And we'll just look at these maps here. So Dean Brewer, when you look at this map, I see extensive, wonder if I can, if extensive travel. Let me see if I can. That's a bit better. So much travel. Look at this. Alaska, Hawaii, all over Western North America, all over Eastern North America,
So
South
this is Dean
Africa,
Brewer specific?
Dean Brewer specific, yes.
Okay.
Europe, Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. And I need to some way to make this real for myself. So I made my own little metric and I call it trips around the earth, right? So if you add up, what I do is I take Pam's timeline and we go line by line and I just take the distance between the two lines. So if we went the distance between this line and that line and that line, and that's what I'm mapping here. And the sum of all those distances for Dean Brewer is about 15 and a half trips around the earth. So I just need something to like wrap my head around the amount of travel that's being done.
I would
Um,
also like to add the amount of money associated with that travel.
yes, 100%. And let's zoom in here to North America, and we see a lot of colors. And what these colors are, and I think Dean's map is extra special because there's a lot more information that's been forwarded about Dean, and there are more blue dots here, which is the special meeting routes and where he's been. And the yellow dots are conventions, and greens are fields. One thing to note is there's a lot of he was at a lot of conventions in the eastern United States. Now, if you're familiar with Cherie's book, Preserving the Truth, it's documented in there that the East and West didn't get along. The regional overseer of the East and the regional overseer of the West, I think George Walker and Jack Carroll, they did not get along in the past. But Dean Brewer is able to go over here to all these different conventions, and I think part of it is probably because he was a charismatic speaker. But I also am wondering in myself, and listen, this is just my opinion. Um, what other reason would we have to go to all these conventions? Was it to transferring money? Was it for face-to-face meetings? What was all that? Um, so yeah, there's a lot. Let me see if I can probably just do this here. Right. So if we click on one of these, like let's say here, Devon in Montana, we can see that Dean Brewer has been there, these many times. The bigger the dot, the more often someone's been there. And so yeah, it's just amazing to me. The one thing that actually surprised me with this map is over here in Washington, we see fields where he was in Seattle, for example, North Seattle for 3 years. I really don't know how much time Dean Brewer actually spent in his field. It seems to me he was traveling more than sharing the gospel.
So I just want to be very clear on this also. When the workers are speaking from the platform these days, saying that these people who have allegations against him are lying, let's be very clear, and Cynthia is going to cover this in her presentation on the 17th. But if she randomly gets someone call and reports an allegation from, let's say, Kansas City, can you click on Kansas City real quick?
Uh,
Right there in the
w-
middle of the,
yeah, we'll go to Kansas here. Where's Kansas? Kansas is
it's in Missouri, actually, I think. It's misleading.
there it is.
So he goes there. So she can quickly say, and they give her a date. When did this happen? It's very easy to determine he was in that location at that time. Now, this person, it's just a lot easier to make correlation of where he was and when. So,
Yeah, and we'll see that as we go through.
yes,
Each map actually kind of has a little different picture and characteristics to it.
yes.
With Dean's, I think the key takeaways for me were um, travel to the east, number of conventions, and the amount of like special meeting detail, right? So
Right.
the blue is if it's just yellow and green, that's pretty high level. Blue is a little more in the details. So you get into more specifically where he traveled in that region.
So if you guys can't see the small print until you see this maybe on another screen, that's 338,440 miles traveled, 15
Mhm.
trips around the world, Dean Brewer.
Yeah, let's get into some of the others too, because
Yeah,
they're
you go
quite
ahead.
interesting.
I'll be
So
quiet.
Dallas Lineman, this is the one that blew my mind. This is the one that started it for me. I read that timeline from Pam, and I was like, oh my goodness, this guy, an unbelievable amount of travel. And not as much as Dean, though, only 10 and a half times around the earth. So a while back, Linnea, my wife, she mentioned to me when we were looking at Robert Caulfield's map, she's like, why don't you make the lines red when when they knew about when they knew that Robert was an abuser? And we were shocked the amount of red. So now I've been applying that principle, thanks to Linnea, to all of these maps. So whenever they knew that Dallas Lineman was an abuser, those lines are red. So let that sink in. What you're looking at here is a map that's pretty much red, and 56% of the travels from 1987 onwards have been red. And let me just see here. Cynthia Lyles mentioned to me that the workers knew of allegations by at least 1987, if not before. Okay, I work in a corporate job, and if I want to travel someplace to meet with a customer, I have to get a travel approval from my boss. And it gets approved, and the project pays for it, and we go do our business and come home. It's the same thing here in the church. If someone wants to travel somewhere, they need to get approval from the overseer. Overseer probably has to talk to somebody who manages the money account to get some money and pay for the flights. They know what they're doing. They approve this travel. Not only that, when the overseer has to visit another region in charge of another overseer, there's probably a common courtesy where they have a conversation and say, so and so is coming into or going to attend a convention, and yeah, okay, I'm okay with that. That would be a great opportunity to say, no, Dallas Lineman is an abuser. He is not welcome in my territory. But none of that happens because I'm looking at a map here that's red.
Marcia, yes, the answer. Beverly's right about the time period for Dean Brewer's travel was 1976 to 2022. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, and look at the timeline on Dallas Lineman, 1949 to 2011. That's 62 years in the work. Another thing that strikes out to me is I was 10 when the workers knew about this guy. And there's pictures of him at Didsbury, and I was there. And over here in Taiwan, Taiwan is his kingdom. He had spent a lot of time laboring in Taiwan. Um, that's they build kingdoms. This is his territory. Now we'll get into Robert Caulfield. Robert Caulfield. This is just a travesty. Absolutely unnecessary. 73% of travels after assignment to Montana in 1997. And what strikes me with Robert's map, and I think this is underappreciated. Look at this. We've got Sri Lanka. We got Pakistan. Okay. We got North America, Canada, right? The parents with kids. We're looking after our kids. We've got it pretty good here as far as living. Sri Lanka, Pakistan, it's a struggle to live. A family with kids, they're doing what they can to stay alive and just survive. Okay. So in these countries, it's not uncommon for kids to be even more vulnerable as the parents are struggling to survive. It just it just makes my skin crawl when I think of someone like Robert Caulfield visiting Pakistan and Sri Lanka, anywhere for that matter, but these kind of regions especially, and it's just terrible everywhere.
I'm going to repeat this one more time. This is factual information. This is not emotional information. This is not somebody making anything up. This is lists of travel from known allegations, admitted allegations, letters from overseers that have confirmed for sure that this has happened. And that shows the travel since those allegations came to light. I might say that 15 times here.
Yeah, and it's something that, like, I had a belief system, and like it was a real struggle for me to accept what I was learning as being true. I didn't want to. I tried to figure out all different ways why it could not possibly be true. But then I realized that, like, all my thinking is not going to change the facts. It is what it is. I have to accept it. And this is just what it is. So Robert Caulfield really, he started in Saskatchewan, a lot of time in Saskatchewan. And then to about 1996, 97, he switched over, he was sent over here to Montana. And from there, that's was the rest of his work was out of this region.
He is still being protected by and paid for by professing people. Just make that clear.
Hmm. And
I would like
I
to
want,
add, can I add something about
yes,
Robert?
Pam, go ahead.
After he even went to Montana, he still went back to Canada for conventions
Hmm.
after they shipped him to Montana, knowing what he's done. They still let him go back to Canada.
Yeah. The this is example of what we can learn from a list. Okay, I was at this convention, Duncan 2022, and I talked to Merlin at this convention. I even shook Robert Corfield's hand at this convention, saying, "Hey, Robert, you may know my family from Saskatchewan," and didn't really get much of a response. But I wanted this. This just blew my mind when I found this out. Saskatchewan, 1996 to 1997. On the list, the top name is the overseer, Dale Schultz. Okay. So here we have Saskatoon, Dale Schultz, Robert Corfield, Merlin Affleck. First of all, they're breaking the rules because there's three. There should only be two. But that happens sometimes. And you cannot tell me these three guys together don't know what's going on together. And Michael Hassett is on a home visit from South America. 1997, Saskatchewan list. Dale Schultz is still the overseer. Merlin Affleck is in the Saskatoon field, and Robert Corfield is sent to Montana. So the previous year, Merlin was a companion with Robert Corfield and Dale Schultz. Montana, 1997 to 1998. Overseers Jack Price, his companion, is Robert Corfield. And there's a note here that Dean Brewer is sent to Washington. Look at these dates, 1997. And look at this date, 2022, Duncan Convention, British Columbia. And we have Robert Corfield and Merlin Affleck and another red box perpetrator, Doug Morse. I've also noted on here that in attendance were Michael Hassett, who's the overseer of Alberta, and Richard Denherder, who I believe is in charge of like Asia area. So you have Michael Hassett, overseer of Alberta, Richard Denherder with Asia, Robert Corfield, known abuser, Merlin Affleck, who has a red box himself and is the current overseer of British Columbia. Can you wrap your head around that? They're together at Duncan. This is like a 25th anniversary of this disgusting thing that these two knew about. I don't have any words. I was
I don't
there.
have words either, and we have a lot of information to get over, and I know that the emotion, we sit with this, so, and I understand, I saw your message on there, Charlene. We're gonna discuss the emotional side of this at the end. We want to first dispel the lie that we are lying, that these are not facts. I can absolutely promise you, this is factual information from lists with pictures of who was together, when and where, and that it lines up with allegations against all of these people. Okay. I just want to be very clear about that.
Mhm.
Go ahead. Now y'all know why I get pissy once in a while.
Yeah, and then Jack Redekop, he's active in the ministry in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Northwest Ontario. Um, Again, look, one of the things that strikes me with Jack is the amount of time in the prairie provinces. Also conventions in the states. And the amount of foreign travel as well, you know, to Asia and Australia. I don't understand why overseers allow workers with allegations to be active in the ministry. In Saskatchewan, that's Jack Redekop. In Alberta, that's Marion Crawford.
So I would just like to repeat what we started out with. Name workers have been assigned and moved all around the world. Concerns are minimized. Families are silenced. Communities are completely unaware that these predators are coming into their area and attending their meetings, all while abuse is occurring.
Yeah. Next one here, Doug Morse. A lot of time in BC and Western US. He was in the East for a little bit and a lot of Eastern conventions, plus had a fantastic trip to Australia and New Zealand. Basically was there, did all the conventions in that area on a huge convention tour.
With 4 trips around the world.
And yes, and then up here in Alaska, I was working in the Tesoro refinery in Kenai, Alaska, and was up in Anchorage for the Alaska special meeting, staying with some friends there. And the guest across the hallway from me in the basement was none other than Doug Morse. It's actually been shocking to me to realize how close I've come to these perpetrators. I've shaken their hands. I've actually held them in esteem. And when I look back on where my paths have taken me and how close I've come to them, I'm just horrified. I've been given rides by them. It's just unbelievable. Here's Australia tour. Now let's look at the United States. We have Ruthie Topinka. She's an active worker, red boxed. When I was doing this map, I don't want to make light of it, but what it looked like to me was like those national weather things with the hurricanes coming. This is the hurricane, the Topinka hurricane. It's just the path of destruction is unreal. And you'll notice that it's clustered based on region. So we have Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Over here, Colorado, Utah. So there's an overseer for this region. There's an overseer for this region. And we get down into Texas and an overseer for that region. And it was during the time in Texas when the allegations against Ruthie were made known. And then after here, we have red lines, and now she's active in Kentucky and Tennessee area. So the overseer of the Kentucky and Tennessee area is allowing her to be in the work there. And these lines that strike off into these different regions, the overseer of Montana allowed her to attend special meetings. The overseer of Maine allowed her to attend special meetings. The overseer of Ontario allowed her to attend special meetings. So where are all the overseers that are standing up to prevent this? I haven't seen any yet. That's why I've been putting here the overseers of the areas that when the time it's been known. And 45% of her travel was after the overseers knew of her alleged abuse from 2013 onwards. And Ray Hoffman and Lyle Schober were aware of the abuses in 2012.
And I would like to say something about Ruthie's. What I noticed when I was doing her timeline and looking at everything is that the states that she was moved to were also states that Jerome Frandl was moved to at the same time. Kind of followed him around the states. And we all know that Jerome was convicted of not reporting abuse. So that was something that stood out to me when I was doing hers.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
Jerome is the current overseer of Kentucky, Tennessee.
I don't think he's overseer right now, is he?
Oh, I don't he like
I
he was on the list top.
is he? Because okay, unless they changed it, I'll find out for sure.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Chase Stewart. This one's a fairly recent one, and so he he admitted in 2018 to a previous incident of sexual assault, and 68% of his travel is after that. So 2018, um, this is Saskatchewan and Ontario, and to South Dakota, he was in special meetings. But note here on the Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario list in January to June 2020, Chase Stewart, this is 2020, 2 years after this. Chase Stewart is in a field with Dean Affleck and Jim Atchison. Dean Affleck is the overseer of France. And Chase Stewart went from Saskatchewan to Belgium and France, and in this area is where he is now. So they know. They know. Marion Crawford is a worker that's active in Alberta, and um, I just want to get. She started in Alberta actually, and then went to Saskatchewan for quite some time, and then back to Alberta where she is now. So very highly connected and lots of worker relationships in Alberta and Saskatchewan. I believe she, I talked with some folks in the East, and when she was sent to the East for this would be a special meeting, she abused a lady there, alleged abuse. And Michael Hassett was in charge of that travel as well. When we look at the Alberta list, we see Michael Hassett's name at the top, and we see Marianne Crawford in Medicine Hat Field. And there's also another thing on these lists. You have local arrangements, so it's like who's going where, the status of workers who have honorable mention. Honorable mention means that you remained in the work until you no longer could work anymore due to health or something. You stayed in. You did not leave. Beverly Thompson has honorable mention, but she's a red boxed abuser. There's nothing honorable about Beverly Thompson, yet Michael Hassett still has her on here as honorable mention. Um, this list on the side here
I
is,
just very quickly
go ahead.
interrupt that. So for those people who say that we're just like every other church and everything else, and again, I'm going to go back to what I have stated repeatedly. The difference is other churches literally take people out of honorable mention, off the pulpit, away from anybody while they're doing an independent investigation. That is not the same as keeping them in and keeping them on the list and everybody keeping their mouth shut and not letting anybody know that they're a perp.
Yeah.
Very different.
Then on the right side here is a list of this is travel for preparations. Remember earlier I mentioned about travel to preparations to prepare the places for conventions, the upcoming conventions. And Marion Crawford in 2024 was helping with Green Shields in the early part of June. And Michael Hassett, he goes through to all of these different preparations, and he assigns who goes to where. Let me just get a map here. This one. I think it's this one. Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of information with these lists. Put them all together, and what I've found, even with the relational database, when you query that database and you get a list of data, it doesn't really show you all of the connections. So using graph theory, when we can connect and look at things visually, we can start to see different characteristics. And graph theory is used everywhere. You may not even know it. When you ask Google for directions, every intersection is a node and every road is a line. And that's how it knows how to get you from the shortest distance between two nodes, is by using graph theory. So I've have a short list of people that I want to look closer into, and that's what this graph is the connections between the people that I want to investigate closer. Who were their companions? What was that all about? And we've been talking about Marion and Beverly, so I just want to just kind of focus in on these folks. Marion Crawford here. These different statuses mean different things. Red, to me, that's a red box. Like their allegations have, like their name is out there. Green means active. The green outline here is active, and the size of the box is the amount of time that they've been active. The size of the circle is the amount of time they've been active. A white border means that person has passed away. A yellow border means they have honorable mention. And the thickness of the line here indicates the strength of the relationship. So Beverly with this lady here, she was companions with her 6 times. So the thickness of the line does not mean it was a good relationship. It just means it wasn't a relationship. Um, the there's less lines. Beverly's been in the work a long time too, pretty much, I think, just as long as Marion. However, there's less lines here because Beverly has spent a lot more time in West Africa. So a lot of the lines that Marion has here, Beverly has in West Africa, which I don't have that data in the system yet. One thing to note is these folks here in the middle. What does this mean? This means that these people have had, see here, all these lines. That means that these folks, and I have their names anonymous because I don't feel like having all their names shown on here for their sake. This person here has had Beverly Thompson as a companion and Marion Crawford as a companion. And this person over here has had 3. Sharon Heckle, who abused my friend, um, and Marion Crawford and Beverly Thompson. So yeah, it's not good.
I want to be clear here, when we're talking about patterns, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the strength of that relationship. That person is far more susceptible to having endured abuse. That's very clear based on just the number of times that she has been in contact with and assigned to those people. So go back to the overseers and keep in mind how they make decisions. Now you know how organized this whole thing is. Now you know who all knows what and who has communication with who. Now you can see, why do they put people with people? Hopefully this helps explain how they keep this under wraps.
Yeah, and then that's a lot of information on the last graph I showed. So what I did is I just reduced it to really only show connections between key people here.
Just a
And one thing
reminder that the strength of that line, so the thicker the line, the more times they've been together.
yeah, and also note here that Beverly Thompson and Marion Crawford were not connected. Out of all of those connections, never were they ever connected. And then there's a few folks here that have passed on. Willis Prop, a second cousin, Bob Coughlin, Jack Price. So Willis Prop and Robert Caulfield. Let's see, so Dale Schultz is connected to a lot of people here. Dale Schultz is connected to, well, Jim Atchison used to be the overseer of Saskatchewan. Dale Schultz is connected to Mike Hassett, who's the overseer of Alberta, and Willis Prop, and Robert Caulfield, Bob Coughlin, and Don Pufalt, Dale Schultz.
So just a reminder, the green means they're active and do not have allegations. The red means they are active with the white circle and do have allegations.
Yes. Now, when we go out here a bit further, I want to show a couple things. This here is all a network of all the names I have so far in my little database, and this is just Western Canada. And what it's done is it organized it into communities, and this makes sense because there's two clusters because we have females and we have males. And within those things, because I'm just doing Western Canada, we have Alberta, Saskatchewan, and BC. So there's different colors. Yellow is one region, blue is another region, and pink is another region. Those are people that have strong relationships with each other. Let's look here at, I'm just going to turn a setting off here. I highlighted here Marion Crawford, so you can see each line extends out to someone she was a companion with. These ones on the edge here are from older lists, so I haven't got a lot of the older lists in, but she's connected with many people here, sister workers. And then there's also another characteristic of workers sometimes get transferred between one region to another. So I look at these workers, they're like a bridge worker, okay? So they have a lot of relationships with sister workers in one region and a lot of relationships with sister workers in another region. So these are very well-connected workers. And also another interesting thing is there's a worker in the Alberta field. It's interesting though when you look at this network that she's been in the work for a long time, but has never been she's avoided being a companion with Beverly Thompson and Marion Crawford, and a lot of her companions are actually the younger workers. And so far, my impression of her is favorable. Um, yeah, so Willis Prop, a lot of connections between regions because I think he started in the work in Alberta. He was an overseer in Saskatchewan, then he was the overseer in Alberta. So there's a lot of connections between regions.
Ron Walton is saying it seems that Jack Redencrop should be red. He is red on that map that you just showed.
Yeah, some of these, like I have to there's a thing is like there's so much data and little things to keep track of. One of the things that I've been trying to do is yeah, Jack Redekop, even he doesn't have a red box.
Right.
I just want to get to my, where did I do with my slide here? I have one last thing to kind of show here. This might look a little bit strange, but what I did is it took one of these lists here like this, right? Take an Alberta list, and the top name in each of these pairs is the senior worker in that pair. Okay, so the worker, I'm going to say with responsibility, as far as making arrangements, booking halls, doing things, mentoring their companion, etc. Okay, so there's when you go down the list from top to bottom, it's the brother workers at the top, oldest, like most important, and then oldest to youngest. Then you get into the sister workers, and the same thing, the oldest sister worker down to the youngest. And that pattern is the same everywhere. So when we look, what I did is I took from back here 2011 to 2025, I took all the lists and I kind of made a chart of like who is the what order the names were in the list. So brother workers at the top, sister workers at the bottom here. This dotted line is a divider. And it just kind of was interesting I was looking at worker seniority, and one of the things that really appeared to me is that it is very difficult for a worker to gain in seniority. One of the traits is because everybody stays. So it's very, the only way you can really move up is if someone gets moved out of a region, or somebody quits the work, or somebody is no longer able for the work, and that takes years. Well, let's focus here on 2016, this area. And there's about 20 fields in Alberta at that time. And what I want to draw attention to is these two lines here, these red dotted lines. One is Marion Crawford, the other is Beverly Thompson. And there's 13 fields here assigned to sister workers. Now, I kind of always sort of thought that the overseer just sort of puts people in different fields and it all works out. But when I saw this, what it told me is that no, actually, there's the 20 fields in Alberta. The first thing you have to do is you have to pick who is going to be the senior worker in that area. Okay, so we get that off the plate. So that takes care of 7 brother workers and 13 sister workers, right? So then everybody who's left is in what I call the senior and junior pools. These are either elderly workers that need some help, or they're junior workers that don't have responsibility. So let's focus now on the sister workers here. So we have 13 fields. That means we have 13 people in this sister worker pool that conventions are over. They're at the workers meeting. They're very nervous because a list is coming out and they don't know who they're going to be with, because in Alberta, 2 of the 13 here are abusers. If we reduce that down, let's just say it's 1 in 6. Um, that's like rolling a dice to see if you're going to be paired for 6 months of the year with an abuser worker. It's no wonder the mental anguish some of these sister workers and brother workers have is when you don't know who you're going to be a companion with for that year. Like literally it's like rolling a dice. There should be no red lines, but there are red lines. And when you look at all of the lists, I think you go back in Alberta, um, 3 of the last, like, okay, so overseer history, Michael Hassett, Merlin Affleck, I think Mark Huddle may have been for a little bit, and Willis Prop. So 3 of the 4 have allegations. That this is not about one person. This is about culture. Abuse is in the culture of the church. I don't know how to explain it, but these kind of things are, I just see this stuff and would like to share it. Also, seniority, you might be making some good progress here. See how number 2, he's moved up a notch. But then some workers come from they're laboring in another country and they come back for a home visit, so they've been in the work longer. So now he goes down 3 notches and goes up and down. So, but it's these workers that have this continual line through here. It's like a thread that connects them all. There's brother workers like that, Lloyd Hogan. There's other ones. There's sister workers like that. They've been through the years, and they know the history. This map here, I'm sorry, it might blow your minds, but this is if you take all the lists, try to visualize, you take all the lists, you stack them up, right? You got a big stack of lists. And then you're just looking at one name on that list, and then you've spread the lists out this way. So it gives you a timeline of what region that worker was in and then you can start to see patterns about when they were transferred between regions, when they were in and out of countries. So purple, if we look here at this one here, yellow is Alberta. So this worker here started in Alberta and then was in Saskatchewan for a period of time, then back to Alberta, etc. And any one here that I have that has a dark black border with a different color dot, those are workers that are in different countries. So it just helps me get like a big picture view of what the scene is. Um, what other things can I?
Does
Yeah, I
anybody
think
have any?
that's,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead, questions or anything. That's what I got
Yeah.
kind of for now.
What questions do you guys have? This is a lot of information. I will tell you that when I had the day that I first saw this, I literally, in the beginning, I was like blown away, just could not take it all in. And that very quickly led to being very sick to my stomach. I mean, you cannot deny the shuffling, the reassignments, the concerns that were minimized, families that were silenced, mostly the communities and all these people who are completely unaware and being told at the same time that we on the outside are bitter and lying. I'm here to tell you, friends, that's not true. What questions do you guys have?
Oops.
This is going to be available on the internet. It will be on YouTube by this afternoon. So feel free to share away. I understand that it's difficult to see, Charlene. I have the presentation and um, the presentation that you sent me, Jason, could I put that in the show notes by any chance so people could see it that way?
Um,
Or could you send me something?
yeah, I can send you something.
Okay, it just some of these are very small and hard to see, especially if they're
Yeah,
looking at it on their phone.
I'll
Uh,
export it to PDF format and you can
okay,
see.
that would be great.
Yeah.
Uh, and then you can maybe look at it that way and enlarge things for yourselves.
Jason has shared all the maps on exposing abuse 2x2 Facebook page.
Yes. And there's a
Yeah,
tab for them.
and I just want to say too, like, um, I'm not, I'm not doing this to destroy anything. I'm doing this to raise awareness. I'm perfectly fine if you have a fellowship meeting in your home and discuss and learn about Jesus and how whatever way. What I am not fine with is the enabling of abuse. And when I learned about the magnitude of this, every cell of my being just could not tolerate that. And so this is why I do this. I would do it for one. I do it for people who have no voice. I do it for people who are victims. I do it to um, expose abuse. And yeah, I'm not doing this to destroy anything. I'm doing this to shine the light and do a little bit that I can with gifts that God's given me to try to help, and with others who are doing the same thing and putting lots of time and effort in. Um, so I hope that people that see these videos look at the maps and see the content in the presentation um, will seriously consider it and the impact of what it's actually telling you.
It's very powerful, Jason. It is so powerful. It literally, I did not even have words. I was just probably like a lot of you might be feeling right now. When I first saw it, my mind was blown and I already knew and believed 100%. But to see it like this, I think back to the point you made coming into this is the visual of it. Um, and again, it's the layers and what keeps coming out. Pam, if you had not done the work that you have done, Jason would not have had the data. Jason, if you had not come along with the skills that you have to put all this together, like I just want to know that I want everybody to say we are shining the light in this. The more of us that are out there putting what we can do together, the light just gets brighter, the fire gets hotter, and that's what we can do. Some people are asking what they can do to help all of us. Paying attention to this, sharing this, getting lists to Pam so that she can input them to everything that she has so that then Jason can use that to map things so that then when Cynthia gets an allegation from somebody, she can very quickly see that that person has multiple allegations from around the world and the story's the same. Like those people have no idea. They literally call Cynthia thinking they're the only one. And it's just sick. It's
Yeah.
disturbing. It's mind numbing. So I know that this is a lot of information. Pam, I'm going to have you also maybe share just a little bit about why you do what you do. I know a lot of people know that and you've said that already, but I just want to hear your heart on it because the work that you guys do is hours and hours and hours a week you guys put into this.
We do it for the children of today who are sitting in meetings, who have no voice, who have no choice but to sit in meetings, who we might hear their stories down the road and they might be the victims of tomorrow because these workers are still letting the alleged workers, perpetrators in go around. And we talked about the workers today, but there are so many of the friends who have convictions who are back in meetings, who have allegations who are back in meetings, who are traveling, and people don't know their names. So if we get their names out there, at least people can be aware. I was just told today of a perpetrator from one state who is planning to move to another state. They've got allegations. I don't know if the people in the new state where this person is going have any clue. But I can guarantee you, I will be cluing in some people in that state to let them know. So that's the thing that needs to be out there, is that we have to get these names out there. We have to let people know these guys travel. And the workers keep saying they're not organized. They are the most organized unorganization I have ever seen. I just got hundreds, and I mean hundreds of speakers lists in the mail the other day. They go back from 1955 to current, to about 2018. If that's not organized, and I have a list of all these workers that were at these conventions, I don't know what is. So, when
Stop
people are
sharing.
saying that it, huh?
Sorry, 1 second. Jason, can you just stop sharing your screen?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead, Pamela.
So when I get these lists and stuff, and when I hear people say, oh, well, all of this isn't true, I'm not making up where these people have traveled to. I am painstakingly looking at every single list, highlighting the names of the perpetrators and putting it in my database, and then putting it on the timelines so Jason then can do the maps. I just updated Doug Morris's one yesterday from all the speakers lists I got. So Jason will have a whole bunch of new data points to put in. It takes time, but it's so important so the kids of today might be informed. People might be informed, and they can make that decision for their family if they want to stay or if they want to go. That's not my decision for them, that's their decision. But they can't make that decision if they don't have the information. And it's very important for me because I didn't have that information when I was being abused. And I want to make sure these kids today have that information. These kids all have cell phones. They're all going to find stuff. They're savvy, so they at least can have that information to research for themselves. And that's important to me, to empower these kids to have a voice that I didn't have.
Huge thank you to both of you. I think it was just not even enough for what you both do. We will have you on again because I just feel like this is too much information, even in one sitting. It's just a lot for people to take in. I want to just say one last thing, and that is all of the work that Denise Doucette has done, along with Cynthia Lyles, specifically to clarify. Denise Doucette works in the prison system, has for decades, the mind of a perpetrator. These people that they are allowing back in meetings are not repentant. They are not changed. They are still offenders. That is the part that I don't understand, what is so difficult for these people to understand the decisions that they're making and continuing to make and keeping people in harm's way. And then not also informing the congregation that they are sitting right beside them. So if you have any questions about that, please go back and watch the 2 different shows that we have done, and they're both on YouTube with Denise Doucette about that. And then I want to layer on top of that the work that Dr. Natalie Bolin is doing. She will be on our Unbroken show this coming Wednesday at 5:30, and she will be going over an overview of what pathways to healing. So all of these people and all of these allegations and all of the brokenness of people who have been abused around the world, knowingly, from overseers who know what these people are doing and continue to shuffle them, continue to not keep people informed. That is all being paid for through Bridges and Balm, Open Arms, United Open Arms. I'm having, and there's, Rural North, mostly by now outsiders money, and also all of the work that Natalie does to get these people in therapy around the world. Okay. So I just want to be clear that we are all working together as a team. Everybody is communicating with everyone else. And this is nothing about this. Yes, there's a lot of emotion involved, but that is not what we're talking about today.
I have a saying about perpetrators, and is leopards don't change their spots, They just get better at hiding them. And that is what these perpetrators are doing. They're not repenting. They're just get better at hiding what they do.
Yeah.
And people need to see that and understand that and realize that.
Yes. Okay, unless there's any other questions that are specific to these two, we're going to wind this up. Thank you again for your understanding on the technology, but it was so important that we get this right. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this. The more likes and comments that we get on this, the more it's going to bump it to being watched by around the world as well. So thank you to everyone. Special thank you to Pam. Jason, I want to give you last word.
Okay, thank you very much for this time today. I have a few final thoughts. First of all, to the overseers, to the workers who are overseers. I really don't have any words. I don't see what's happening written in the Bible. You need to read about what it talks about being an elder. And also in Revelations 21, verse 7, he who overcomes shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the cowardly, unbelieving, abominable, murderers, sexual, immoral, sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Now, after that, you can be thankful because there's still time to repent, and that's what you need to do. You need to do it now. You need to repent. Now, to the workers who are in, I love you. You're in a pickle. Crystal explained that there is help available. Renewal North, Bridges and Balm, many organizations. Reach out to people we can help. You reach out to any of those groups and it'll direct you to wherever help is best for you. You have a gift of ministering the gospel. You can embrace that gift, and you do not have to execute that gift in the worker church. There's so much need outside of it where you can be free in Christ to fully use that gift to your ability. Now, to the friends inside, read your Bibles. What did Jesus teach? What were the customs at the time? Visualize Acts and don't read the worker church into the Bible. And let the Holy Spirit lead. He speaks to you in many different ways, and just pay attention. Most of all, most important, to the victims and survivors, I like to paint, okay? So sometimes it's the plants. Well, often you'll notice in nature that the plants with the prettiest flowers have had the biggest struggle. So here we are, supporting you, showering you with love. You can bloom again and rinse out all of the sadness and terrible emotions. And it's a continual process. We stand with you. We love you. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you all. Thank you, Pam. I'm going to go cry. Have a great day, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you,
caring.
Crystal.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you.